You're listening to Nice-ish, a podcast about reality TV and your opinions, with your hosts, Cindy and Grace. Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 43 of Nice-ish. I am here with my co-host, Grace, and fellow Dodger fan.
Hello.
Hi. New season started.
I know. We've been having a really good week.
We have had a great week. Games have been super exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this is going to be a great season.
I think so, too. As long as everybody stays healthy and we keep this team intact, I have a feeling that we're looking pretty good.
Yeah, I know. Feels good. So you and I had talked a bit about what we wanted to do with this podcast in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And our goal was not to do recaps, but to just kind of single out certain things per episode that we liked or that got a lot of reaction on social media or whatever, and talk about those things. And we kind of want to get back to those basics. We feel like we've lost the way a little bit here, and that maybe we're doing too much recapping and not enough of specific moments that we want to talk about.
Yeah, I would agree. It just turned into recaps, which we didn't want. I think it's because of the way that we were taking notes, and it's like we shouldn't be taking notes on stupid scenes that don't matter, because then we read them and it's like it's just going through the episode and it doesn't really work for what we wanted to do.
It was never really our goal, and plus anybody that's watched the episode knows what happened. So we wanted to talk about the juicier parts, and we feel like we've kind of gotten away from that. So back to basics. We're starting over. All our episodes were really good, but we want to make them better. And we're going to shave off the fat and get to the juicy part. So the first show we're going to talk about is The Valley. It's not on right now, but Brands by Bravo on Instagram posted a video from an interview with Jax with Us Weekly. And it's kind of all everyone's talking about. I mean, we got well over 100 comments on it and a lot of retweets and posts. So we wanted to talk about it. He is kind of the worst. In the video, he starts talking about his relationship with Brittany. And the first thing out of his mouth was, I am not going to bash her publicly. I come from old school where you don't do that.
I know. Yeah, he always says crap like that. So I think we literally counted in the video how long it would take for him to start bashing her. And it was literally 10 seconds.
Yes. He couldn't go 11 seconds.
Nope, he could not.
He's such an ass.
He really is. I mean, his entire personality and him in general is just gross and disgusting and very, very narcissistic. I mean, he just really cares about himself. And it's just so interesting because he was like this on Vanderpump Rules, like from season 1.
Yes.
And it's just interesting how you can see that there is no change or growth in this person.
None. I had posted, oh my God, he really is the worst. And this season of The Valley is going to be so good.
I know.
And we got a reply from @MarsRocks who said, the gaslighting and manipulation I hear from this over 40-year-old man, and yes, I agree with you, the season's going to be so good, reminds me of early VPR days. In the video, Jax talks about how Brittany's hurt him, how her words have been hurtful. Why would she stay with him if he's so bad?
Right.
Why would she ask him for sex? Why would she, he's just disgusting.
Yeah, he is. Exactly like Mars Rock said, though, gaslighting and manipulation are like literally his only 2 tactics that he can use against people. That's all he's got. And he's perfected it, I'll be honest with you. He's wicked annoying. But that's all he has. And I do think that this season is going to be good, specifically because I'm not a Jax fan. I am also not a Brittany fan.
Right.
So the fact that I don't really care what happens to either of you is why I like it, because I don't feel allegiance to anybody.
Yeah, that's an excellent point.
So I'm like, okay, good.
Everybody's terrible.
Yes, everybody's terrible. So, yeah, because I remember you told me, too, that some people were like, oh, Brittany, you knew what you were marrying, that type of deal, which, to an extent, I can be like, yeah, okay. Like, you sought him out. We knew that.
100%.
But Jax is always going to be the bigger problem of the two.
It's so crazy how superior he feels when he's such a fucking mess. You know? He talks about also his sobriety, which is interesting. I saw a couple comments from people who do have addiction, suffer from addiction, and they said, you 100% know how many days you've been sober. Mm-hmm. And Jack said once he hit the 100 mark, he felt good. So he said, I'm around 107, 110, something like that. And I know that I will never use cocaine. Cocaine was his drug of choice. Mm-hmm. I know I will never use cocaine again. And I can't drink because when I drink, I reach for a bag of Coke.
Yeah.
So I will never drink again. The guy who owns the bar. So, look, let me just say that I don't want anyone to fail. I don't like Jax, but I completely root for him to be successful in sobriety.
Right.
He also has a young child and just to be a better person. So I 100% root for that. I just think people have setbacks and people do fail and start over, and there's nothing wrong with that. You always start over and try again, but he just comes off like such a douchebag.
Well, not only that, but he's a literal liar.
Yeah.
He lies about everything relating to himself.
Yes.
He doesn't lie about other people.
No, he loves to tell the truth about other people.
But he lies about himself.
Well, it's going to be a great season because we will see him kind of melt down and be an idiot to everyone. But we'll talk about the trailer right before the season starts because the trailer was great.
Yeah,
but
it was.
We're going to wait
everywhere.
and hold off on that so that we can talk about it right before the season starts, which is actually this month in April. So,
yay.
I know. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Let's talk about Beverly Hills.
Okay.
So this week we had the finale episode for this season, but we're going to talk about two specific things that have to do with Beverly Hills, but not actually have to do with this episode.
Right.
The first is that Garcelle announced that she is leaving the show.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised by that. I did not see that coming. I guess everybody else on the cast did, though.
Yeah. It sounds like she had a very, very rough reunion. Mm-hmm. At one point, walking off, it looks like she might not have come back.
It does seem that way because based off that trailer, it looked like she was in like a red tracksuit and like like she changed and was done.
So that's unfortunate. I never like to see anybody leave that way.
Yeah.
It sounds like Andy on Watch What Happens Live said, I was hoping she'd stick around because Woes was on with Erica that night. Mm-hmm. And Erica's like, oh, we knew about this 2 weeks ago, Andy. So did you. And he's like, well, I knew she left the reunion. I was hoping that once she had time to kind of calm down, she'd, want to stay with the show. So sounds rough.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happened. But yeah, she did post a video about her leaving and all that stuff and that she's got her other projects and stuff to do.
And her kids. She said it was the senior year for her kids, her boys, and she wanted to be more of a present parent with all that. Mm-hmm. There's kind of mixed feelings about it on social media. Garcelle's had a hard time, I think, with a lot of fans. Mm-hmm. And I was never one who liked or disliked her. She was on the show. I mean, actually, I do like her as a person. I think she seems really nice.
Yeah.
But on the show, she was never overly interesting to me, but I didn't care one way or the other, you know?
Yeah.
So when she announced she was leaving, I thought, oh, well, you know, she is very successful. She was before she entered the show. She will be after she leaves. So
For sure.
good for her. I posted her goodbye video and we got a reply from Sin MDMI who said, I am happy for her. She does have a lot of things going on, and she seems to appreciate that Bravo opened some of those doors. Good for her, and she won't ever get this time back with her kids. So I think that's always the best choice if you can make it work.
Yeah, definitely. I think the kids probably would make sense, especially in their senior year. They're both going to go to college somewhere, whether that's in California, I don't know. The one started modeling, so he might be, you know, not even the U.S., like
Right.
different places. So if you have this time with your kids, just take it. And I don't doubt that they would offer her to come back.
And he did.
Yeah.
He said, take a year off and contact us if you want to come back.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. We'll see if she comes back. I don't have a problem if she comes back, you know?
Right. Yeah, no, me either.
So aside from the Garcelle stuff, I do want to talk a bit about a clip that we posted from the reunion.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really good clip of Dorit discussing her separation and if her home was in foreclosure.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, Andy asks Sutton about it.
Right.
And her comments, while they might have been a little snarky, were actually good questions to ask someone going through this, which was, what do you know about your finances? Is your name on the mortgage? You know, where is the money?
Yeah.
All this kind of stuff. Sutton, although Andy said was great news to find out, did not know that her husband owned 2 baseball teams. She had no clue.
That's insane to not know, to go into a meeting like that and be like, where the hell did this come from?
How do I not know that my spouse is buying a baseball team?
Uh-huh.
There's no discussion about that.
No.
And then he goes and does it again.
Again.
So, but although Andy's point was that was bonus because that's a lot more
Right,
money.
yes.
But her whole point was these things need to be discussed.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going through a divorce. Your husband's lying to you about many things. So Dorit needs to know what's going on.
Yes.
And we got a reply from Judy M523 who said, it doesn't matter if Sutton cares or not. Dorit needs to smarten the hell up and learn everything about the family finances. If she was smart, she'd ask Sutton's attorney's name and number. The fact that she trusts what PK tells her is confirmation that Dorit is a fool.
Yeah, I thought Dorit looked like an absolute fool in this clip.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that Dorit just pulled the story out of her ass, though, and like she was lying.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was told this by PK and just took it at face value, which is stupid.
Right.
And it doesn't make sense if you know how mortgages work.
Right.
So he's lying to you again.
Yeah.
And yeah, she needs to look and see where their finances are, because she was like, he just decided that he wasn't going to pay because they raised the rates on the mortgage and he wasn't happy and they didn't try to contact him or whatever. And it's like, Woes said it best. Well, that's how you lose a house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, are you for real? You can't just do that. The bank is going to call you once. And
Right.
it's up to you because it's your house that you're living in. They don't care.
No, they don't care at all. And speaking of not caring, Dorit seemed to have a real issue with Sutton saying anything because she's like, you don't care about me.
Mm-hmm.
You have no say. And really, the same thing that Judy said here, Sutton doesn't have to care, actually, even to have empathy.
Mm-hmm.
She's gone through this. So she's telling you, whether we're friends or not, you need to get all your ducks in a row. You need to find out everything. You need to know what's going on. And you can't take the word of someone who's trying to cheat you.
Right.
So Sutton doesn't have to be your friend to give you good advice.
Yeah, 100%. For sure.
So Dorit just looks silly and clearly does not know what she's talking about. The home was in foreclosure. You didn't pay. And like you said, Grace, the bank doesn't care.
Yeah. Let's get into some tweets then about Summer House. And you had posted about Jesse and West, and you had said, Jesse, how would you feel if Ciara started dating? West, relieved. Jesse left out the part, if Ciara started dating me.
Right.
How would you feel? This came out of nowhere for me, him just being interested in her.
Yeah, we knew he always flirted, but we never heard any conversations about if he regretted not pursuing her. And so him talking to Amanda and Craig and, you know, even Ciara herself, it was very interesting and enlightening.
Yeah, I mean, I guess to the point that he said who wouldn't be interested in Ciara, I kind of like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
you know, she's
beautiful,
absolutely stunningly gorgeous, and she's a decent person. So that, what else do you need?
Right.
So you had gotten a response back from @NatesMoobs that said, West and Jesse's fall from being some of the fan favorites needs to be studied. Personally, I did not like West from minute one, but I did kind of like Jesse last year and even found him attractive. Now I just want to vomit when he's on my screen.
Oh, that's 100% the vibe right now.
Mm-hmm. Because Jesse literally went from being a fan favorite and us feeling bad, like, oh my gosh, could he potentially have cancer again? Like, to feeling relieved for him and just being like, wow, you're a decent guy.
Yeah.
To this season where you're all over Lexi, telling her that you want to be with her, but then you don't really. I guess you just want to have sex with her, is what it seems like.
I think he wants to be with her when he's with her.
Oh, that's a good point.
And then when he's not with her, it's like, ooh, who's that?
Mm-hmm. So then he's trying to flirt with Ciara, which, again, weird. Then he's getting his toes sucked from one of Imrule's friends that he brought back. But he was in there for 37 minutes.
Yeah, they clocked it.
Yes. So I don't know if toe is slang for dick, but I have a feeling that there was way more than a toe thing going on. And he probably said to Imrule, like, hey, you know, you got my back type deal. And he was like, yeah, sure.
And if it was just a toe, first of all, 37 minutes, what do? You just sitting there watching?
Yeah, like a perv in the corner? Like, what are you doing?
The whole 37 minutes, 40 minutes, that's a long time to enter a room where somebody's having sex and sit there. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on with him. I mean, even if I was dating someone and they didn't have their toe sucked, but was sitting in the room watching two naked women go at it with a naked friend, I would kind of be like, what are you doing?
Right.
Why are you doing that? So the whole thing was weird to me. I don't know.
It was very weird. And Lexi wasn't there. So it's like, now, if I'm in a relationship with you, if I was Lexi, I'd be like, okay, so when I'm not there, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I can't see the correlation between pursuing Lexi so hard and then this. I just don't get it.
He's got a very short attention span. Like, out of sight, out of mind. I don't know. You know what? I saw somewhere where someone mentioned all of his love bombing. And it's like, Lexi's not here, so I am going to text her 50 times so she knows I'm thinking about her, so I can't possibly be doing anything else. But then in the time that he's not texting her, he's literally flirting with everyone that's around. So I think he's trying to make her comfortable, thinking he's only thinking about her. And that's just, not the case.
Right. And then Lexi's going to shoot herself in the foot here in a little bit because she's going to get... The toe. Good. Because she's literally going to get mad at Ciara. You are getting mad at the wrong person here, okay? And I wonder now if she's watching the season is like, shit, I really should have been mad at Jesse here, and it's really not anything to do with Ciara, because I don't think that Ciara's giving out any vibe that she's welcoming like his advances towards her,
Well,
but I don't know.
I don't know. Did she say, why didn't you pursue me before and what stopped you? Do you think everyone else is pushing out the vibe, go for Ciara?
That is true, though. Yeah, they are. And I mean, here's the thing, though. It's like Ciara, though, you chose West. That's originally who you gravitated towards. It was not Jesse.
Right.
So I don't know now if it's kind of like a, oh, well, we're in the house together.
Yeah.
You're the last one left, pretty much. I mean, nobody.
Oh, wait, no, Carl's going to shoot his shot later.
Oh, my God, you're right. I forgot.
God.
God, yeah, you're right.
Ugh.
So I don't know what this situation is, but I'm not feeling it.
No, I'm not either. She can do way better.
Yes, 100%. So now Jesse is just giving all the fans the ick. And speaking of the ick, I think that Craig is giving Paige the ick.
Oh, yes.
Everything that he is saying and doing is bugging her. It's so clearly obvious that she just does not want to be with him.
No, I agree. She doesn't want to be around him. I feel like she's kind of avoiding him.
I know. Yeah. Almost to the point, where she's like hiding.
Yeah.
From him.
Yeah.
And I think she was definitely ready for this relationship to be over. And so does at Mrs. Bad Wrench, who said, thinks she was riding the relationship out while filming Summer House. She clearly was over him. And it wasn't the first conversation she had with the girls about it.
Oh, I believe that 100%. Her and Ciara have probably discussed it ad nauseum.
It seemed that way because Ciara was kind of like, yeah, he's this, yeah, he's that, like based off of everything you've told me.
Right.
So they clearly talk a lot. And probably Paige should have just ended it before filming all this because this is just going to make it 10 times harder to watch this. And unfortunately, I think it makes people more sympathetic to Craig. Because of how she's kind of reacting towards him, even though she was clearly done. And I tend to side more with Paige than I do with Craig. I
do
think
as well.
that there's a lot of conversations that we didn't see. And I think that Craig, being on TV as long as he has, knows how to hide how he's feeling a bit.
Yeah.
Which he actually said, I think, in this episode.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that in front of the camera. I wouldn't do this. So
Yes.
you're censoring yourself.
And we don't watch Southern Charm anymore,
No.
but a lot of people feel like he's very manipulative on there as well. So I agree with you. I would side with Paige over this and, move on. So let's talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta. It was an interesting episode. At one point in the episode, it was a segment with Angela Oakley. And she's talking to Charles, and she brings up that there was an incident back in 2017 where Charles was at Madison Square Garden and the owners had him thrown out.
Yeah.
Like escorted out of the building. He couldn't stay. And she had said something along the lines of, it was really hard for him. I couldn't help him heal. So we separated and lived apart. And when we heard her talking about this, we kind of looked at each other like, what?
Yeah.
How does that make sense? Why would him getting thrown out of Madison Square Garden have anything to do with their marriage?
Right. It was just kind of like you're clearly skipping a big chunk out of the story, and what aren't you telling us?
So after Angela's talking about this, there was also a scene, it might have been the episode before, where she was talking about the ages of the kids that they have and mentioned that her two oldest were from a previous relationship. There was Charles Jr., who was Charles's son.
Yeah.
And then a youngest child that they share together. So I was sent this video from TikTok from Sydney J, CYDNIJ, who posted it on her TikTok. And she was talking about both of these incidents and how it didn't match up and how she thinks that the Madison Square Garden had nothing to do with their separation, that it was that Charles stepped out on Angela and had a son.
Oh my God.
So I had posted this on Twitter, and Angela commented underneath it and said, "Oh, this lie is growing legs," with 4 laughing emojis. "Stay tuned, y'all." Then we started getting some comments underneath about Wendy Williams and on her show commenting on this story.
Yeah.
And this was from years ago. And she had said that she was talking with Angela about her own husband stepping out on her and getting a woman pregnant. And she said Angela leaned in and whispered to her, "It's just a baby. You can get past this." And she's like, just a baby. And she's like, "I don't think I can. You're awfully forgiving. Has this happened to you?" And she said yes, and pointed at Charles. So kind of confirmation that what this woman on TikTok is saying is actually what happened.
Right.
Well, Angela actually DM'd me.
Oh my God, I know. It was so funny. I was sitting next to you and you're like, "Oh my gosh." She DM'd me. Like,
I kind of panicked.
yeah, you
slightly.
totally panicked. It was so funny.
But she wrote me a message and then edited the message to take out a bunch of stuff. But her first DM to me said, "Research his case. It was unprecedented. Thrown out of Madison Square Garden. Big deal. Still in court. Upheld twice by appellate court. Please stay tuned for Wendy Williams." And I thought, okay, well, when the Wendy Williams thing was years ago.
Right.
I didn't understand what that meant.
Well, yeah, stay tuned. I was already tuned in like years ago. I already, like, we saw that video.
Yeah.
So,
it was,
and also, by the way, I don't really give a shit why you got kicked out of Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
This is not the pull. This is not the hook of the
this
story.
isn't the lead.
No, it is not. I could literally care less. I don't really care that you're in court. Okay, whatever. That's fine. Totally don't care. What I care about is, did he step out on Angela and does he have a kid?
Right. Well, I had read her message to you. And then when I went back in, it had already been edited.
Right.
And all it says is his case was a big deal. So she took everything else out.
She shared too much. But
Yeah. I mean, I get that she's probably emotional about it, but this was a long time ago. And everybody's just kind of like, I didn't know who she was. I've always heard of Charles Oakley.
Yeah.
You know, I get that. But
right.
I didn't know their story. A lot of people are like, this is old news. This is old news. Not to most of us Housewives fans who didn't know who she was.
And honestly, why she's making this news again is because she's trying to cover it up.
Yeah.
It's very
With a vow renewal.
Right. Oh, that's the way to do it. That's the Housewives fashion, is to cover everything up with a vow renewal. But you're trying to cover it. You're not being honest. And it's actually, what's funny about this is that it's not even like detective work that people have to do. All you have to do is just look up the clip and that's it. You make one Google search and you're done.
Right.
And people who we know on Bravo, if there's anything that seems sus, people will find it immediately.
Yes.
So that was her biggest mistake right there.
And to be perfectly honest, nobody would really care.
That's
If she had
exactly it.
I mean, when she said, this is Charles's son from a previous relationship, and this is my daughters from previous, these are my daughters from previous relationship, and then we have one together. Okay, that's like half the country, you know? I mean, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
So it really meant nothing until she tried to hide it.
Yes.
I'm telling you, I said, I think you could put Housewives fans on cold cases and they will find murderers.
I know, right? That should be asked when, like, for jury duty or whatever. Are you a Real Housewives fan? That should be one of the questions.
That's hilarious.
Because if he said, yes, okay, they're qualified.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about tonight's episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta. It was pretty good.
I thought it was pretty good, too, yeah.
The only thing we're going to talk about is the dinner at the bank, it was called. and Angela hosted. Towards the end of the dinner, she had everybody kind of reading off questions to ask one another, and you had to answer them.
Right.
And it seemed like a lot of the questions were aimed towards Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
And in particular, Kenya's treatment of Brit. And I don't know. I don't really know what to think about this, because it would seem like Brit has had a problem with Kenya from day one.
Yeah.
And we saw on Watch What Happens Live tonight, Michelle Buteau was on with Kelly.
Yeah.
And Michelle said, well, she may have a problem with Kenya, but has Kenya had a problem with her from day one?
Mm-hmm.
And Kelly didn't really know how to answer that, because I think the answer was no.
Right.
And so that would kind of signal, maybe this is a Brit problem and not...
It's a very one-sided.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Fight here.
So earlier in the night, Brit had a problem with the way Kenya embraced her, or the lack of embrace.
Right.
When she was hugging all the women around the table when she arrived, which was very surface anyway.
Yeah, no, it's just like, I'm coming in, I'll greet all of you, and that's about it. There's not really much there. You know, like the classic Housewives, air kisses,
Exactly.
Things like that.
Yeah. And Kenya said, well, I really just didn't want to get makeup all over me and all over you, so it's nothing more than that.
Mm-hmm.
So Britt already had kind of an attitude about it. But she asked her the question, can you say something nice about Brit without an attitude? Or can you talk to Brit without an attitude?
Which is hilarious, because she's had an attitude the entire time. Right. I'm wondering who actually wrote it, because she's claiming that she didn't. But I don't know, because I would think she probably wrote the question about the married women thing. Mm-hmm. I would assume Brit wrote that one, so I don't know actually who wrote this one. My
guess would be Angela. I think because the two of them went for a walk and they knew that they were going to be having the dinner. She's like, hey, do me a favor, since you're telling us to write these questions, I know ahead of time. Write one asking her if she can be nice to me.
Oh.
That's my guess. But even Angela was like, you're overreacting.
Right.
Because she asked the question and Kenya's like, yes, I can be kind to everyone. Mm-hmm. And she's like, no, the question's about me.
Sweetheart. That right there, when you patronize somebody like that by calling them sweetheart, you're looking for a fight.
Yes.
Immediately.
And Kenya gave it back tenfold, calling you a peasant and herself a queen.
Right.
So then you're really going off on her. Mm-hmm. Every single woman sitting at that table said that Brit overreacted.
Yeah, it looked like it too.
Yes. So then they start leaving, and they're all carrying out gifts that they've gotten from Angela. And Brit continues to go off on Kenya and then mentions having a pistol. Twice she said that.
That and whips. She mentioned that too. I heard that. And I'm just thinking to myself, what are you doing? What is wrong with you? Because there is no back and forth here. It's just you, and you look crazy. It's just insane. And the person that you're speaking to right now, who's listening to this, is Kelly. And we found out this episode that Kelly has a real horrible, horrible time with her ex-husband.
A legitimate one.
Yes. Like, afraid for her life. She has a bodyguard because he said in court that he was going to kill her.
Yes.
And here you are, as Brit, talking about having pistols and whips. I don't know what she was thinking there.
It's so out of proportion for what happened. Her reaction.
Unprovoked, really. Like, it did not seem to the level, which makes me think, do you know what show you're on? And is this how you're going to react to when, like, real shit goes down? I mean, because we have seen on these shows some pretty, high stakes things here. This is not the...
Kenya mentioned that she's only known her for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's not like a Kenya-Nene fight where Kenya's like, I know Nene. She's not going to do anything. Right. She's all talk and I'm all talk and blah, blah. Mm-hmm. This is somebody new. Mm-hmm. We don't know anything about her.
No.
And she's going to mention that she's got a pistol? So I don't blame her for being a little rattled.
Yeah.
I don't know if she went to HR. I don't know who she talked to. It's not like they weren't filming. It's not like the crew didn't hear it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wish that Kenya had taken a minute,
I know.
because we know in the next episode, it's the episode that we've all kind of heard about since last year, which was Kenya using photos of Brit allegedly giving oral to somebody and showed them at her hair care event.
Yeah.
Her grand opening.
I know.
So, Kenya.
I know. Because to be honest with you, if I was watching this right now and we had a whole season play out, I'd be like Team Kenya right now.
Yeah.
I'd be like, what? This girl is going off on you for no reason. Like, this is really, really weird. And she's blowing this out of proportion. But we know that Kenya's going to take it to like.
Well, and then you start to wonder about her relationships with her family and her sisters.
Oh my God. Yeah, I know.
Because at first I thought, well, you know, her sister might be overreacting here a little bit. Yes, she has a husband. She's allowed to talk to her husband, you know. But now I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to side with her on anything.
Well, I know, because it's like you said you fired both of you. Or one sister left and one sister you fired. So now I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe if I'm getting a glimpse into what you're like to work with, then it's not pleasant. So.
Yeah, so I don't know. The whole thing was very unsettling, and I can imagine Kenya being a little nervous and rattled by it.
Mm-hmm.
I think we will feel the loss, though, of Kenya not being in the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a huge loss to not have Kenya here. We have 4 newbies now.
Yeah.
And we kind of need somebody who's that anchor. I know that we know Portia, but she's back now too. And Kenya's stayed, you know, for however many seasons she's been on now. So she's kind of the focal point.
Yeah.
And you're kind of going to lose her.
Yeah, it's too bad. It's really a shame. And I don't know how I feel about things coming up. We haven't seen it yet. I'm a little disappointed that she did that, but I don't know. It's hard not to feel bad for Kenya.
Yeah. Do you know if she was invited to the reunion at all? Like, to have a chance to talk to her? Or
Well,
is that,
since the season just started, we know that they haven't even considered the reunion yet.
Do you think that they will invite her? Let's put it that way then. I
do not. I don't think, you know, she's not really part of the opening sequence, or she's not getting any confessionals.
Oh my God, you're right. I didn't even notice.
She's not in any confessionals. She's not getting any now. So
I knew about the confessional thing. I didn't notice about the opening though.
Yeah.
I didn't clock that.
So, I mean, no Kenya, but we have Drew.
She's in a world of her own. Drew, I swear to God, she's on a different planet.
I know, we weren't going to talk about her, but all her scenes with Dennis are just like so cringe. I don't know.
Dennis is the worst though. He's totally the problem though here. It's all these stupid men. Like, you just do what you say you're going to do. You're telling Portia that you're not going to film with her, and you go ahead and do it.
And then Drew's like, can you please talk to her for me?
Yeah.
Because you screwed this up. Can you please tell her that you told me you talked to her? Nah.
Which, again, I believe that he told her that.
Yeah. Oh, he absolutely
That's what
lied
I mean,
to her
though,
and said that.
Is that then you're getting pissed at Portia, and Portia's getting pissed at Drew, and it's like, you're the problem, buddy.
He didn't care.
No, he doesn't care.
Anyway.
All roads lead to Drew.
Thanks for listening to episode 43 of Nice-ish. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Threads, or Blue Sky at Nice-ish Podcast or Love Cindy C. You can listen to Nice-ish wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Look for new episodes every Monday. Thank you for listening, and have a nice-ish day.